Someone left a comment on one of my videos that I couldn't stop thinking about. It said something down the lines of, I'm going through the whole process, I ace the interview. When they tell me the no, they say, the job has already been promised to someone else. I'm frustrated. What to do? I asked this amazing soul, what question do you actually want to ask in the interview that you do not ask right now? And that's the reason why I do this video. Because this amazing soul is not the only person who experienced that wall. I help a lot of clients ace an interview, but also ask bigger questions. The real problem isn't how that specific company is running their recruitment process and the policies around it. The real problem, and what most people don't like to hear, but we share this with love, is that they walked in waiting to be chosen. And they didn't even pause or stop to evaluate, do I really want this job? Do I like the vibe in this company? The person I'm going to set up for success? Do I feel seen? And is there a future for me in this company? Applicants get rejected. Trusted advisor get called back in. And what do I mean by trusted advisor? It's actually to take the room as an advisor and not as an applicant, because the applicant comes with a hat in the hand and say, do you have a job for me? That's a taker mentality. And everything that you tell yourself, I want a job, comes with an energy. People pick up your vibe faster than your energy. When you come with the energy of a trusted advisor, say, hey, what's up? Let's see if I can help you. And let's see if we can get ends to meet, which means what I desire in salary and package. Let's see if we can collaborate together, because you don't see it right now, but you run your own company. You are your company and you represent your company. Also, when you get hired, don't go in with a do or take. Go in as a trusted advisor take. But that for now. So you want to show up as a trusted advisor. And I want to give you 4 keys on how to ace a conversation differently, so you can very quickly filter, do I waste my time here? Or is it actually worth spending my time on this potential lead opportunity? I have 2 examples where I said no, and I want to share with you how I learned the game. I applied for a job, I needed the job. But in the first interview, I just knew that I was not going to report to that line manager. I was offered the job, but I said no. I refused the offer 6 times. I didn't like the vibe. It was not a match for me. At the end, I did say yes, but I should never have said yes. But it's a good learning, right? You can play your game because you get to stand up for yourself. Another example is when I applied for a job that I knew that I was overqualified for. I said, okay, but in case there's another job coming up, I would love if you could think of me. And a couple months later, they called me and said, actually, one of our EVPs are looking for a candidate, and we think you're an amazing match, Camilla. And that was my entry point into an international career that I never regretted. So you never know what the future brings when you show up, but you get to choose what conversation you want to show up in. Where do you want to spend your time? Because if you do not know where you want to spend your time, you're actually going to waste your time. So how do we go from being an applicant to a trusted advisor? Let me give you 3 keys. So let's dive into it right now. Number 1, who do you go in as in that meeting? Do you go in as an applicant? Do you have a job for me? Or do you go in as, all right, I'm famous for this. How can I help you? Two different energies, two different identities, but for the same job. I want you to play with think of famous. What are you famous for? And if you don't know what you're famous for, I'm dropping a link in the description below. Book a call if you want my help. Think of famous. We want to be think of famous. How do you show up being famous for what you're really good at? As a trusted advisor, whether you are Gen Z or an advanced leader and candidate, doesn't matter. You're famous for something. So own that famousness. And when you own that famousness, that think of famous, how do you carry yourself? As I start to play with this, I suddenly start to show up differently. I carry myself differently. I start to beam on a different energy because I know what I'm really good at. And the same you want to play with. Another thing that many people are not aware of. What is your mission of that specific conversation? One conversation at a time. This week, I had various conversations around this topic of taking the room in a higher way. It is a two-way conversation. When you know that you are in that room to explore, can we take the conversation to the next level? Then what questions do you want to ask? And also, do you go into that conversation answering questions or asking bolder questions? And I said it many times, the person who asks the most questions owns a conversation. So you want to know the goal of that one conversation. What is it that you want out of that one conversation? Most people go straight to the end, I get a job, but that's not how it is. First conversation, all right, let's see if we can go to the next conversation. So get into the process of where you are right now. Enjoy the moment of that one conversation and just picture in your mind's eye, when I say thank you for that conversation, what do I say thank you for? The reason I want you to have a goalpost is that then you know when you drift off track. And when you're on track, you know what questions to ask, your pointers. I want to ask this. I want to feel this. Right, and say thank you for a very good meeting. Whatever the data is, you know, I want to serve this company, and you want to be really honest with yourself. You're not going to waste your life and your time and energy, right? Chasing a job that doesn't set you up for success. But you know, because you have gathered some data, you say thank you very much for a conversation. I look forward to continuing the conversation. You want to own the conversation. As you're reflecting on the conversation, how did I audit them? Did I get enough data on the company culture, on the values, on the vibe? Is there a way for me to thrive in this company? What else? The scope, the role, the mandate. That's data points. And then you can reflect on those data points. Say, does it support where I want to go next? Or is it a gracefully, no thank you? There's so many opportunities out there, but most people do not see those opportunities because they only look in the corner and close the door to all the other opportunities. Like dating, you don't say yes to anyone who says, do you want to marry me? No. Why should I just marry you? I don't know you. So really be curious about that relationship and your values and why you say yes, why you say no. From this conversation today, stop treating the job search as a numbers game. It flips your vibe. You sell yourself on your vibe, the vibe that you carry. Tell me, how is it going for you? Flipping your vibe and auditing the hiring manager. That's not weakness. It's calm authority. If this landed for you, I have a digital course. The detail is in the description below. And if you want to work with me, you can also find data there. I know you can. Now go.